Okay, so just checking back in with an update from Stephen Drive. And, when we came out to look at this roof, we were a little bit surprised. Number one, it had already been updated from a dimensional shingle from a 3-tab shingle to a dimensional or architectural style shingle. And the shingle was in very good shape. So we were confused. Why are we here talking about a roof? Come to find out, the homeowner was having multiple problems with water coming in, right? So we looked at, the things that can be seen before a roof is torn off. There was no drip edge. We noticed that the step flashing where roof slopes were joined at walls was not done correctly. So the chimney flashing was not correct. All of those could have been issues. Come to find out, when we tore off the shingles, almost the entirety of the roof deck was in shambles, okay? Now, the roof itself was only about 11 years old. The roof deck looked like the sheathing hadn't been changed since the end of the French Revolution. So what we're left with at that point, right? We priced this roof out and gave them a very good price. We came in thousands of dollars less than the closest competitors, right? And the fact of the matter is, when they're paying that good money for a roof, all of the materials that we're putting on, the underlayment, all of the thin metal, all of the new shingles, those are exterior products designed to protect the interior, the bones of the home, the sheathing, the framing. When we tore the roof off, we found that almost the entirety of the roof had to be changed. In total, we had to get 45 boards. So the unfortunate thing is, why would that ever happen? Okay, when the roof was changed last, this is one of the dirty little problems with construction. The last roofer either decided that he was not going to show the homeowner the condition of the sheathing because they were not prepared to do the carpentry correctly, or the roofer could have come down and showed that to the homeowner, at which point the homeowner might have said, look, I'm going to sell the house. I have no desire to do it correctly. Just cover it up and get shingles on it. In either case, that is not the correct way to do the roof. The homeowners today, in order to make them whole, we had to change the entirety of 15 squares of roof. So their main that has a front slope and a back slope, a total of, about 7 squares, and then another 8 on this hip style roof, all has to be changed. 15 squares in total. So the fact of the matter is, all of the materials that we brought today, the proper underlayments, all of the thin metal, all of the shingles, and keep in mind, that's a full certainty package. It's the top of the line. It's the industry best warranty for those materials because they're the highest quality. So to put those materials on without addressing the roof deck, you just can't do it. No contractor, legitimate with integrity would do that. So tough of a conversation as it is. Again, we gave these folks a really great price. It's never fun to have to come down and explain to the person that the cost of the project is now going to, increase by thousands of dollars. But look at this roof deck. I mean, this is the condition of the sheathing that was just covered up by the last contractor. It's barely safe to be up here walking around. And you can see that they changed out boards just in small patches. So I wonder what these boards that were actually changed look like. That must have been sawdust when they pulled it off. The entirety of this roof needs to be changed because everywhere that we step, we're walking through a roof. None of this surface would be considered nailable. In the state of New Jersey, that's a code violation. So it has to be brought up to code. And in order to do that, we're going to have to replace all of this sheathing. It's unfortunate, but the homeowners are going to be made whole today. The roof is going to be done correctly. The sheathing is all going to be replaced, so they're going to have a brand new roof deck. And then that roof deck is going to get dripped out in the proper drip edge, the proper step flashing where slopes are joined at a wall, all of the proper underlayments, including ice and water and roof runner synthetic paper, ice and water from 36 inches or from 36 inches down to the eaves. From 36 inches down to the eaves will be ice and water. From 36 inches up to the ridge, there'll be synthetic paper. Again, we're using all CertainTeed products. You can see our synthetic paper is Roof Runner by CertainTeed. You can see our pallet of shingles is a Landmark series from CertainTeed. We're using their Swift starters. You can see that box of CertainTeed ventilation. So the entirety of materials that we're putting on are the top line materials, and you cannot do that to protect sheathing that is already looking like, you know, bombed and depleted like the surface of Afghanistan. So pretty much we have to change everything. Again, not an exciting conversation. It's a conversation that should have been had with the last homeowner. If it was had and they told the contractor to cover it up, shame on the homeowner. And if the contractor took direction from the homeowner, then shame on them. But it's going to be made right today. The only sheathing that we're able to keep is this entire garage surface, right? Because that was a new addition. And then also this sun porch, which is already covered up in underlayment. It's, you know, able to be kept because it was brand new. So the fact of the matter is, you know, the surface area of this hip roof, and then also the it's a side-by-side hip roof and then an A-frame. These two surfaces had to be changed entirely. They are the original structure. The garage is an addition. The sun porch is an addition. And after today, it'll be, you know, brought up to speed. Everything will be in ship shape the way it should be. We have the front slope already replaced with new sheathing. We're in the process of pulling the back slope off and starting to replace that with new sheathing. And once we have these two surfaces fully addressed, we can start putting on underlayments, start dripping it out, and then start getting shingles up on the roof. Then we could address the hip portion of the roof, which also needs to be changed entirely. So again, shame on the last homeowner if it was their decision to cover that up, and shame on the contractor either way. If the contractor covered it up without telling the homeowner or took direction from the homeowner and hid this, you know, secret for the next homeowner to have to deal with this disaster. And also shame on the home inspector who came out prior to this home being sold and cleared this roof, because it should have never been cleared. The shape of this sheathing could have easily been seen from the underside. We already had a contract, so it was a moot point. We didn't look at it. It became a surprise on the day of the job. All we knew is that it was leaking. We were told that there's no drip edge. We knew that there was issues with the step flashing where the slopes join the walls, and we assumed that that could have been the cause of the leak. We also knew that there were issues with the chimney. You can see that those boards have been changed. So they essentially changed when they did the roof last, this little area around the chimney, and they did put ice and water, which you can see. But the fact of the matter is that all of these boards that are being changed today should have been changed during the last roof project, and either by the contractor alone or the contractor in combination with the last homeowner, it was hidden. And because of that, the new homeowners have a nightmare that they have to deal with. It's totally unfair, but they're going to be made whole. Everything that we do at Signature is founded on 100% transparency. We don't hide problems, we fix them. We correct problems with the proper solution, and that's what's going to happen today. So it adds about 3 hours of extra work to the job. And also, just to let you know, prior to putting the homeowner under contract, we already agreed with them that if any sheathing had to be changed, we were going to change it at the cost of the lumber alone and the cost of the labor for the carpentry. So it's $40 for every single sheet. The boards cost about $20, and it's another $20 for the labor to put in. If you're being told that for every board that needs to be changed, it's going to be $75 or $175, you need a new roofer. They're not your contractor, because they're taking your misfortune and they're using that as an opportunity to bill you more. There's profit and overhead. It doesn't cost any more than $40 for every board that needs to be changed. The boards are $17 or $18 at Home Depot, and the carpentry shouldn't cost more than $20 per board. If you're being told $75 or $175, you're being robbed. You need a new contractor. You should call us at Signature Roofing and Restoration.